Back in May of this year, I did a show about Nico Harrison. Nico Harrison is the general manager and president of operations for the NBA's Dallas Mavericks basketball team. I spoke about how the citizens of Dallas, Texas circled around like a lynch mob, calling for the job or maybe even the head of Nico because star player Luka Doncic was traded to the Los Angeles Lakers. The Dallas fans were so filled with venom that Nico Harrison and his family were given security protection. TV stations jumped in as well with the attacks on Harrison with their quote unquote speaking about his competency. There has, as I spoke about before, never been a case in sports history that I am aware of where a superstar player was traded or released without the consent or at least the urging of the owner to do so first. And I asked why wasn't this ever brought about? I'm going to leave that situation and I'm going to give you a reason why I brought that up. You fast forward to today and we have another Dallas team, the Cowboys. They have traded superstar player Micah Parsons to the Green Bay Packers. Two things didn't happen during this trade that did happen in the earlier Dallas trade. One, the Dallas lynch mob did not come circling around looking for the head of the Cowboys general manager. They didn't stand outside the stadium demanding his firing either. And two, though there were whispers of how terrible the trade was on the TV station, there was nothing like it was coming at Nico Harrison's decision for Luka than it was for this decision to trade Michael Parsons. And let me add that the Cowboys general manager, Jerry Jones, is also the Dallas Cowboys team owner. The same team owner who has 20 television cameras chasing him around, hoping that he has something relevant to say, which he never does. We have to look at the fact that this Cowboys team, who has only won 4 playoff games since 2004 playoff wins. Nothing relevant about it. But it gets worse. Cowboys general manager and owner Jerry Jones has stated that he ended up trading Micah Parsons because he, Jerry Jones, wanted to deal with Micah Parsons one-on-one without Micah Parsons' agent. Micah Parsons says, nope, hold on. I got an agent and I want him handling all of my negotiations. So as Jerry Jones played the waiting game, hoping that Micah Parsons would freak out or panic and sign something, he did not. So Jerry Jones decides, yeah, Michael Parsons is not going to cave in, then I'm going to just trade him. What the Cowboys owner did was contractually illegal. So my question that I'll begin with there is, where is the NFLPA, the National Football League Players Association? They supposed to act as a union to protect its players' rights from owners such as this bully, this Simon Bar Sinister looking, sounding. Oh, Simon says you're traded. That's what it sounds like. It's ridiculous that the Players Association is not protecting its players' rights and is standing mum about it. We have heard nothing from them. Nothing. Not publicly anyway. Then we also have to look at the fact that since Jerry Jones tried to circumvent the process by avoiding this player's agent, which is illegal, where are the sports agents in their union? Why aren't they rallying around the fact that we have an owner right here blatantly bragging and flaunting that he's doing his deals without them? We have to call it for what it is. The bully that he is in Jerry Jones, just because you look like Simon Bar-Sinister doesn't mean you have to act like Simon Bar-Sinister. That's the point right there. The double standards are so many. If you look at this one situation, he made this trade a couple of weeks ago. There's been a little talk here and a little talk there, but nothing about the consequences of what Jerry Jones did with his violation. The regular season is upcoming. The Dallas Cowboys are playing the first game of the season. They're ready to brag and ready to go on the TV stations. I'm sure Jerry Jones is going to be standing in front of that camera as usual. So what I say is this: at minimum, the owner / general manager of the Cowboys, Jerry Jones, should at minimum face a 2-year suspension for his actions. Also, at maximum, he should be forced to sell his team, and not to one of his family members so he can keep it in the family. Kick them all out. This will be a cry to all owners of all sports. You might be the billionaire. You might own the team, but you can't do things like this. It's really what I call a total crap show of hypocrisy. It's out in the wide open and it stinks. And now you see why the NFL, with their pro contracts, have the worst pro contracts in all of pro sports. When you're speaking about pro baseball, pro basketball, even pro hockey, when they tell you that a person signed for 7 years, $90 million, they generally getting exactly what it says. And unless that player does something to violate or void that contract, it is what it says. But when you go back to the NFL contract, the NFL contracts will read anywhere from 3 years, $50 million. Then you have to have all the rights behind it. How much of it was in the signing bonus? How much of it is guaranteed money? And how many times has a player, due to injury or because roster space, loses their spot on the team and their contract voided because their contracts were not guaranteed? They go back to the good old days, to the beginning days of football. Nothing has changed. And here it is, 2025. Not only are the contracts terrible, but we're also dealing with owners like Jerry Jones and maybe others who do this in circumventing contracts without agents, because we know players come in young, they don't know contracts, they don't know small print. So here's where the investigation should come in. Not only how many times has Jerry Jones done this to players throughout his time as owner, how many other owners in the NFL has done this to circumvent contractual agreements, to lean towards the owners half better than the players half. And this is where things like the words collusion come in at. Because here's the thing, the higher Micah Parsons' contract goes, the higher the league's contracts from the position he plays rise. So don't think of this as just one player, one owner. This is league-wide. When will the investigation come? When will we hear about this here? And when will Jerry Jones lose this team? I'm going to close this out for now. I hope you did follow my previous episode about the hypocrisy in Dallas that happened before. I see this as an ongoing Dallas thing. So if you will, please hit me with any likes. And if you will, I hope you will make any comments if you agree with me. And if you don't agree with me, speak on that as well. And if you will, I will be very happy if you will subscribe to my page as well. I want to thank you for listening. And now I'm going to say bye-bye. Take care now.